Good day, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Today we have an article from ScreenRant.com titled Star Wars 9 Theory: Why Rey Turns to the Dark Side. Dated August 25th, 2019. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing to the channel. Helps it out a lot. Let's get into this. New Star Wars 9 footage teases Rey turning to the dark side, but there are a few theories as to why Disney's Star Wars sequel trilogy hero is apparently turning evil. Directed by J.J. Abrams, who has co-written the script alongside Chris Terrio, The Rise of Skywalker is bringing an end to the Skywalker saga that George Lucas started all the way back in 1977. Although much of the Star Wars 9's plot is being kept under wraps, there are a few key details we know of, including the return of Emperor Palpatine and the wreckage of the second Death Star. Both are important to the new footage in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker shown at D23 Expo this week, which features a duel between Rey and Kylo Ren, and also ends with a shot of Rey wielding a double-bladed red lightsaber, while dressed in what appears to be a Sith-type robe, suggesting she has turned to the dark side. Of course, this is Star Wars, and on top of that, it's Abrams, so we shouldn't just take this at face value. There are compelling ways to have Rey turn to the dark side, but just having her simply go evil on its own isn't really enough. Not least when she's already been and seen with that Anakin Skywalker. After the Star Wars 9 footage, there are three major reasons why we're seeing Rey join the dark side. So let's go into the theories. Theory 1. Dark side Rey is just a dream. Rey turning to the dark side in Star Wars 9 would be a huge deal, and one of the biggest plot twists in the entire saga. So why then would they give that away during the marketing? Sure, trailers have spoiled movies before, but J.J. Abrams and Star Wars are both notorious spoiler-phobic and instead love to tease and misdirect fans, which is what this Rey twist feels like. Rey wielded a red lightsaber in a TV spot for the Star Wars Last Jedi 2, which ended up being part of her brief team-up with Kylo Ren to take down Snoke's Praetorian guards. But since this is a different lightsaber, there's likely something different again at play, and the most obvious idea is that it's a dream or vision sequence. These aren't uncommon either in Star Wars or general trailer marketing. There's Rey's vision in Star Wars The Force Awakens, Tony's in Avengers Age of Ultron, and the nightmare sequence from Batman vs. Superman. All of these were cases that seemed like potential big spoilers, but actually ended up being a vision or dream. And there's a big chance that that's what's happening in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker too. Not least because there's actually a good reason for it happening. We know that Palpatine is returning for Star Wars 9, so it wouldn't be a surprise if this vision was created by him in order to torment or control someone. It could be that he is showing it to Kylo Ren, or perhaps even Rey herself. On the flip side, it could be a dream or vision Rey has, much like Luke seeing himself beneath Darth Vader's mask in The Empire Strikes Back. It could be a warning of things to come, if she allows herself to be controlled by Palpatine, rather than something that is set in stone, which feels more plausible as she was so committed to the light side at the end of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Since it's a Star Wars 9 marketing footage, then this feels more likely right now, but then maybe that's what they want us to think. Update. StarWars.com updated their story about the D23 presentation to change, and of course, the vision of Rey with a ridiculed red blade was nothing short of thrilling. Too, and of course the sight of Rey with a red blade was nothing short of thrilling, leading credence to the dream theory. So there you have it. StarWars.com actually put in the course of a vision of Rey with a red blade. So it's more than likely theory 1. But let's go on to theory 2 and theory 3, just in case. Theory 2 is Darkseid Rey is a clone. A Darkseid clone of Rey being in Star Wars 9 sounds like a crazy idea, but then so did the return of Emperor Palpatine not so long ago, and it's directly because of the theory of evil Rey being a clone feels somewhat plausible. It's not only the kind of thing Palpatine would do, but something he has done before in a sense. Star Wars Legends has a number of forces of clones, And since Abrams hasn't been shy in tapping into elements of the EU previously, it's not beyond reason that he'd do it so again. In The Last Command, the final installment of the Thrawn trilogy, we're introduced to Luke Skywalker, a clone of, as you might have guessed, Luke Skywalker, who was created from cells extracted from the hand of Luke lost during the duel with Darth Vader and Bespin. Luke was a physical replica of Luke, possessing all the same attributes when it came to dueling and using the Force, but mentally, he was a mindless clone who could easily be controlled and thus used to do the dark side's bidding. Dark Empire, another key EU story, was about the resurrection of Palpatine, something Star Wars 9 is sure to explore in some way by using clone bodies. In canon, meanwhile, there's Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which gives us a clone troopers and reveals that Boba Fett is a clone of Jango. It might not be quite as major as cloning one of the main characters, but nonetheless means that clones are A well-established part of Star Wars canon, and B, something Palpatine has weaponized before. If he can create a clone version of Rey in order to defeat Kylo Ren, or use her to convince him to join his dark side, then it's very much the kind of trick he'd pull. It's not beyond major franchises to try this with the main character either, and it'd mean that they could tease it in the marketing, but it still keeps a real twist. Theory 3. Rey really does turn, and there's a time jump. J.J. Abrams is a director who likes to mess with audiences, convincing them that what they're seeing isn't what they expect. He spent months telling everyone Benedict Cumberbatch wasn't playing Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness, only for it to turn out that he was indeed playing Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness. He knows that by including a shot of Rey wielding a red lightsaber in Star Wars 9's marketing, there'll be a variety of fan theories to what it means, and he could be using that to his advantage in order to have Rey genuinely turn to the dark side. But that's not where the story ends. Star Wars 9 ending with Rey turning to the dark side would be a bold move, but also be hard to pull off. For starters, it essentially repeats Revenge of the Sith, but it also means there'd surely have to be another trilogy to explore what comes next. Star Wars 10 may happen, but it's far from a sure thing, and it'd be a weird way to sign off the entire Skywalker saga. If Rey turns, she also has to turn back, so that means she goes to the dark side early in the second act and then comes back to the light towards the end. But doing that within a space of a few days inverse is tricky, so the real kicker would be that Rey does turn to the dark side and turns back after a significant time jump. Disney revealed a new timeline for the Star Wars saga at D23, which noticeably did not end with Star Wars 9, but instead runs for another 13 years. There are various possibilities as to what that means, but having a 13-year-old time jump in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is very much in play and would allow for them to cement Rey's turn to the dark side. She could join Palpatine's side, and all hope could be lost before being brought back to the light side, or at least finding a sense of balance after such a long period of time, thus giving more weight to her in turn, and allowing greater consequences to come from about it. It'd also mean expanding Disney's sequel trilogy, which so far has all happened incredibly quickly. To jump forward into the future, bring Rey back, and then end the Skywalker saga on a big note of hope feels like a more fitting conclusion for Star Wars 9, and the best way to have this twist, if it really happens, actually work. So what do you think about the theory of Rey going dark side? I personally go with that it is theory 1, that it is a force vision or a dream or a nightmare or something like that. That's what before I even read this, that's what I was going for. It just seems too on the nose that Abrams would put out something that would give away a big reveal. But theory 2 could hold up. That dark side Rey is a clone, so maybe there's a clone Rey that's dark side. That could happen too. I think it's a lot less than theory 1, but it could happen. And I really doubt theory 3 is going to happen at all that she actually does turn to the dark side. She may perhaps pretend to maybe be in the dark side, but there's no way they're going to turn her actually to the dark side. I can't see it anyways. Could be wrong, and it's all my opinion, but I don't think so. So let me know your comments, what theory you think it could be, or if you have another theory, let me know in the comment section, because I love hearing your theories. I love the interaction that you have in the comment section. So awesome, and thanks for watching. Take care and have an awesome day.